Okay, so picture this. You just moved to Pune for a new job.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exciting new start, right?
Yeah.
A city that's known for peaceful neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
You find a great apartment. You think like, okay, this is it. This is the beginning of something amazing.
Yeah.
But for Swati, this dream quickly turned into a nightmare.
Ooh.
Today, we're going to be looking into the case of the Midnight Stranger,
Oh, yeah.
a true crime story that really just shook the city.
It's interesting how, like, a place we consider safe,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
can suddenly become a source of terror.
Right.
Like, Pune has that reputation, right?
Right.
Being calm
Yeah.
and tranquil.
Exactly.
And so when something like this happens,
Yeah.
it really kind of shatters our sense of security and makes us question our assumptions about,
Yeah.
where danger truly lies.
Right. It's like the foundation of your world just feels unstable.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Swati.
Okay.
She was young. She was ambitious and independent.
Mm-hmm.
She'd been living on her own for a while, but she often kept that detail to herself.
Interesting.
Almost like she was hesitant to reveal it.
That hesitance is quite revealing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It speaks to kind of like the anxieties and potential vulnerabilities that unfortunately many women face.
Right.
Especially in certain cultures when they choose to live alone.
Absolutely. It's a sad reality that choice comes with, the added layer of concern.
Yeah.
For so many women.
For sure.
Okay, so it's November, and Swati's coming home late one night.
Okay.
The neighborhood's really quiet,
Mm-hmm.
colder than usual,
Yeah.
and she notices a shadow near the stairwell.
Ooh. That feeling of being watched, of something lurking in the darkness, is primal.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful trigger for anxiety.
Yeah.
Because it taps into our, instinctual fear of the unknown.
Right, and that unsettling feeling just keeps building because later that night at 3 a.m.,
Oh, no.
the doorbell rings.
Okay.
Swati looks through the peephole and there's no one there.
Oh, it's like straight out of a horror movie.
It is.
It is.
That classic false scare
Yeah.
is more than just a cheap thrill in a movie.
Right.
It's a deliberate manipulation of our psychological state,
Yeah.
It creates this sense of vulnerability
Mm-hmm.
and dread.
Yes.
It plants the seed of doubt
Yes.
and makes us question our own perceptions.
It makes you wonder, is it just my imagination or is something really wrong?
Right.
And for Swati, that question becomes harder and harder to ignore as these strange occurrences start to pile up.
Okay.
First, it's creaking noises in the hallway.
Okay.
Then there's tapping on her window, which is especially unnerving considering she's on the 4th floor.
Yeah, of course.
And then to top it all off, things start disappearing from her kitchen.
What?
Yeah. So naturally, she goes to her landlord.
Okay. And this, unfortunately, is where we often see this dangerous pattern emerge,
Oh, yeah.
The landlord dismisses her concerns,
Yeah.
blames it on the building's age,
Right.
Suggests it's just rats.
Right.
This type of dismissive response.
Especially when it comes from someone in a position of authority.
Right.
Can be incredibly invalidating.
It's like being told that your fears are irrational or you're overreacting.
Exactly. And this can be especially problematic.
Yeah.
In cases like this where,
Yeah.
potential gender dynamics might be at play.
Right.
The term gaslighting comes to mind, where
Right.
someone's concerns are deliberately manipulated and undermined, leading them to question their own sanity
Right.
and judgment.
So, faced with this dismissive response, Swati decides to take matters into her own hands.
Okay.
She installs a camera in her living room.
That's a pretty significant step.
Yeah.
It shows that she's not willing to be a passive victim.
Right.
She's taking control,
Right.
seeking tangible evidence
Exactly.
to support her claims.
Yeah.
This kind of proactive approach
Yeah.
is something that we see in a lot of survivors who refuse to be silenced or ignored.
But it's also a sign of how unsafe she felt in her own home
Yeah,
that she had to resort to that.
absolutely.
And what that camera captures is truly disturbing.
No.
The footage shows a shadowy figure entering her apartment around 2:45 a.m.
Okay.
He moves with this eerie confidence, like he owns the place.
See, this is where it goes from like potentially explainable events
Right.
to like a concrete threat.
Right.
We're no longer talking about the psychological impact of unsettling noises.
Right.
This is a clear violation of her personal space
Exactly.
and security.
Yeah.
The fact that he's entering her home while she's sleeping
Right.
adds another layer of vulnerability and terror to this whole situation.
It's a deeply unsettling thought.
Yeah.
And what's even more disturbing is that when Swati calls the police,
Mm-hmm.
they don't seem to grasp the severity of the situation.
Oh, no.
One officer even says, "I'm sure it's just a petty thief. We'll catch him."
Oh, wow.
It's like they're minimizing the threat because nothing was actually stolen.
Yeah, this dismissive attitude, the downplaying of the victim's fear
Yeah.
is a recurring theme in these types of cases, unfortunately. And it just highlights how crucial it is to advocate for yourself,
Yes.
to speak up forcefully,
Yes.
and demand to be taken seriously, especially when you feel dismissed.
Absolutely.
Or your concerns are being minimized.
It's a situation where you really have to be your own advocate
Yeah.
and push for your safety to be taken seriously.
Absolutely.
Now imagine the fear Swati must have been feeling, knowing that someone had been in her apartment,
Right.
that the police hadn't caught anyone,
Mm-hmm.
and she was essentially on her own.
Yeah.
She couldn't sleep. She kept the lights on and a knife by her side.
Wow.
And then at exactly 3:0 a.m., it happens again.
Oh, no.
The doorbell rings.
It's like their signature, isn't it?
It is.
That 3:0 a.m. doorbell.
Yeah.
Like a chilling reminder of the stalker's presence.
Right.
And a symbol of Swati's vulnerability in this terrifying game that
Exactly.
he seems to be playing.
This time, when she looks through the peephole, she sees him.
Oh, geez.
It's the same shadowy figure. Oh, wow.
Just standing there, staring back at her.
God, I can't even imagine that feeling.
Yeah.
Like that surge of adrenaline and fear.
Yeah.
The feeling of being like hunted,
Yeah.
preyed upon.
Right.
It's such a stark transition
Right.
from the psychological torment that she's been going through
Exactly.
to this very real and immediate physical threat.
Yeah. She calls the police again, but before they can even get there, the man starts trying to force the lock.
It's almost like the fight or flight response, like
Right.
that physiological reaction to a perceived threat that just prepares us to either confront the danger or escape it.
Right.
But in Swati's case, escape isn't really an option, is it?
She's trapped
Yeah.
in her own home with a potential attacker trying to break in.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
And in that moment of extreme stress, she makes a split-second decision.
Oh, wow.
That could have gone either way.
Right.
She grabs a kitchen knife.
And as the door bursts open, she lunges at the intruder, managing to graze his arm.
Wow. What an incredible act of courage.
Right.
And desperation.
Yeah.
Fueled by pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
I mean, in that moment, she chose to fight back.
Right.
Against her attacker.
Yeah, this incident really, I think, speaks to the complex nature of trauma and survival.
For sure.
Because sometimes the only way to regain a sense of control in a terrifying situation like this is to confront the threat head on.
Yeah.
Even if it means putting yourself in harm's way.
Absolutely.
And luckily, the sound of approaching sirens spooks the intruder.
Okay.
And he flees into the darkness.
So he's gone.
Vanishing without a trace.
But even though he's gone, sense of security is completely shattered.
Completely.
Like that insidious nature of trauma.
Yes.
It lingers.
It does.
Long after the immediate threat has faded.
Yes, even if there's no physical harm.
Yeah.
The psychological scars
Yeah.
can run so deep.
They do.
The police search the area, but they can't find him.
Oh, wow.
But during their investigation, they make a chilling discovery.
Oh, no. What's that?
A hidden room on the building's terrace.
A hidden room.
Yeah, like a secret room.
God, it's like giving me chills just thinking about it.
I know.
What's so disturbing about this
Yeah.
is that it reveals like a level of planning and premeditation that's truly unsettling.
Right.
This wasn't just a random act of intrusion.
Right.
This was carefully orchestrated.
Yes.
This was a campaign of terror.
It's like something out of a psychological thriller.
I know, right?
That idea that someone had created this secret lair to observe her.
To observe and potentially harm her.
It's so disturbing.
So disturbing.
And as if that weren't enough, inside the room, they find items that were stolen from other tenants in the building.
Oh, gosh.
As well as photographs of Swati taken through her windows.
It's just a violation on so many levels.
So many.
Not only has her physical space been invaded, but her privacy has been completely shattered.
Completely.
This is, this discovery highlights, I think, a key characteristic of stalking behavior.
Yeah.
The stalker often seeks to exert power and control over their victim. by invading their space and violating their sense of privacy.
It's a terrifying thought to know that someone was watching you, documenting your life, without your knowledge or consent.
It's creepy.
And despite all of the evidence, they never catch the stalker.
Oh my God.
That lack of closure, I think, can be so difficult for victims to process.
I bet.
The unanswered questions, who was he, why me, is he still out there, can haunt them for years.
Absolutely.
And in the aftermath of this terrifying ordeal, Swati makes a difficult decision. She decides to move out.
Wow.
And vows to never live alone again.
It's understandable given what she's been through.
Right?
This type of trauma can lead to, I think, a sense of like learned helplessness, you know, where a person feels like they have no control over their environment or their safety.
It's tragic that her sense of independence and security has been so deeply affected by this that she feels like she can't live alone anymore.
It really underscores the lasting impact of trauma.
It does.
And how it can fundamentally alter a person's life choices and behaviors.
This story has been so unsettling. It really makes you think about, you know, like personal safety. And how quickly our sense of security can be just shattered.
It's a reminder that, you know, these types of situations can happen anywhere. Even in places that we think are safe.
Like in our own homes.
Exactly. It challenges our assumptions about safety and security.
It does, and it makes you realize, like, how important it is to trust your gut instincts.
Absolutely.
If something feels off, it probably is.
Yeah, if you feel uneasy, there's usually a reason.
So are there any practical steps that people can take to feel safer, especially like if they live alone?
Oh, yeah. There are definitely things you can do. Kind of increase your safety. You know, simple things like making sure your doors and windows are secure. Being mindful of who has access to your building. Even just like letting friends or family know where you are. These things can make a big difference.
It's like building layers of protection.
Exactly,
around yourself. And I think even more importantly, this story emphasizes the need to be assertive. And speak up.
Absolutely.
If you feel threatened or unsafe.
If something doesn't feel right, don't ignore it.
Don't let fear or societal pressure silence you.
Report suspicious activity to the authorities.
Exactly. And if you feel like your concerns are being dismissed, don't hesitate to like escalate the situation.
Seek support from friends. Family advocacy groups.
Swati's experience really highlights how crucial it is to advocate for yourself.
She really did.
You know, she took steps to document the intrusion with the camera. She fought back when attacked. And ultimately, you know, she prioritized her safety. By
making that really difficult decision.
All of these things
Yeah.
really demonstrate a refusal to be a passive victim.
It's a powerful reminder that we have agency
Right.
in these situations.
We do.
Yeah, we don't have to just accept a situation that feels unsafe.
We have a voice.
We do.
And we need to use it.
And this brings us to like a final thought-provoking point.
Okay.
We often talk about, you know, like stranger danger.
Right.
But statistically, women are more likely to experience harm
Yeah.
from someone they know.
Unfortunately, that's true.
It's a chilling thought. It forces us to consider
Yeah.
that threats can come from these unexpected sources.
Absolutely. It really highlights, you know, the complexities
Yes.
of safety and risk.
We need to be vigilant, not just for ourselves, but for like the people in our lives,
Yeah.
for our loved ones.
Yeah. And we need to foster that open communication
Absolutely.
about these issues and support each other
Yeah,
in creating these safer environments.
for sure.
This deep dive into the Midnight Stranger has been incredibly unsettling,
It has.
but also very eye-opening.
Yeah, a lot to think about.
It's a reminder to trust our instincts, speak up for ourselves and for others,
Yes.
and just actively work towards a world where everyone feels
Yeah,
safe and secure.
absolutely. Let's not let fear paralyze us.
Right.
Let's use this knowledge to empower ourselves.
Yes.
And to create positive change.
This is such an important conversation to have.
It is.
And thank you for joining me today
It's been a pleasure.
to really shed light on this.